I was thinking the other day about the UTEP minors and about how I think last year's season was so disappointing because when we talked about this when we were doing our kind of team by team postmortems about how the excuses were kind of gone for this team. Mm-hmm. In 2015, if you wanted to say, well, of course they didn't make a bowl, Aaron Jones got hurt. Like if you wanted to, like the key cog of their offense got hurt. If you wanted to say that and you wanted to be like, all right, they get a mulligan on that one. But then 2016 was supposed to be a big year, and it just simply wasn't. And they had a chance there towards the end to make a bowl, to make a run. They went 4-8, and the losses to Florida Atlantic and Rice were really the ones that killed them. But that is really interesting to me that now going into 2017, UTEP's a team that I mean, we are really approaching put up or shut up time for Sean Kugler.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's
the results have not been what they need them to be.
No, absolutely not. I mean, this is a guy who came in, a product of the program, a guy that they thought was going to be the guy to turn this program around. But now 18-31 at UTEP, and that's simply not going to cut it. And so now you look forward to 2017 and you say, okay, what can they fix? What needs fixing and what can they fix? The biggest issue is that I feel like the UTEP boat is the kind of thing where you go and you can plug up some of the holes, but then when you plug up a hole, there's still another hole over here, or a new one creates.
Yeah, a little bit.
What I mean is that I think there's a decent chance that the defense is a little bit better in 2017. Now, it has to be. It was 106th in the nation in scoring defense last year. It has to be better, but I think that there's a decent chance that they are better. They bring back Alvin Jones defensively. They have 7 defensive starters back. 7 defensive starters.
Pretty good.
If you have 7 defensive starters back, your defense should be better.
Yeah.
Just from a pure, from a pure number standpoint, when we go and we evaluate teams and we say, all right, if you have 7 starters back, that should spell improvement. They bring back Alvin Jones. They have a number of other defensive stalwarts who are coming back. Up front, they bring back Mike Soda. They bring back both their defensive ends, Gene Hopkins and Mike Soda. They do lose their big nose tackle, Gino Breslin. But they have Alvin Jones. They have almost all of their linebackers, at least the 2 inside linebackers they have back. Okay? The secondary returns most of their key guys. The defense should be better. But what I mean by plugging one hole and another one opens is that all of a sudden there's some question marks about where this offense is going to come from. Okay? And it's not just because Aaron Jones is gone. Not just because he's gone. It's a big part of it.
Yeah. Doesn't help.
Aaron Jones jumping into the NFL draft does hurt this thing. Now, they've got guys. You know what I mean? And Q Wadley had a decent year last year. They've got Kevin Dove. They've got some guys that are going to be able to have a chance to win this job, but they do not have a go-to guy. And now all of a sudden, this is a UTEP offense, seemingly without an identity. The question is, do you use this opportunity to kind of remake your offense or fill in holes? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big question that I'm looking for in spring practice for UTEP. Are they going to open up this offense a little more? Because last year, as far as passing is concerned, they did not pass a ton. They were 100th in the nation in pass per game, 27 passes per game. Do they tick that thing up? They threw the ball 27 times a game. Do they tick that thing up and say, all right, we're going to open this up a little more and be a little more be a little more two-dimensional? That's a big thing I'm looking for. They've got quarterbacks back that they could put in Ryan Metz, or Zach Greenlee, or Kavika Johnson, or whoever. I mean, they ran the gamut with all their quarterbacks last year.
Yeah, I mean, and that's sort of the follow-up to that is like, okay, so maybe you decide to open it up, but when you tried to do that last year, boy, did it not go well.
No, it really didn't, because they were not able to push the ball down the field. 6.6 yards per pass, they weren't able to push the ball down the field. So that is, for me, the biggest question heading into 2017 for UTEP is what exactly does this offense look like? Because when when you come in and you're Sean Kugler and you say, well, we want to be hard-nosed offense. Okay, that's hard-nosed running offense. That's real easy to say when you have Aaron Jones.
Sure.
That's real easy to say when you have a number one, go-to, can't-miss running back that you can hand the ball 25 times a game.
No question.
There are guys I like on this roster who I think could turn into real stars. But they do not have a guy, and that can be a blessing and a curse because in one respect, when you had Aaron Jones, you were kind of shackled to the idea of
right. It's an easy excuse, right?
It's like, we've got this guy. He's our best.
How do you not hand him the ball?
He's our best player.
How do you not build everything around him?
And now, without that standout, do you open things up and change things a little bit so that you're able to open up the offense and throw the ball? Now, look, I don't think they're going to come out and be Texas Tech.
No.
They're not going to throw the ball 70 times a game. Okay? They're not. But what if instead of a situation where you're throwing the ball 27 times a game, what if you throw the ball 35 times a game? And all of a sudden, the balance gets shifted a little bit more. For me, that's my most interesting thing to see. Because when you lose your superstar in Aaron Jones, you do have an opportunity to open things up and maybe change the way you do business. Now, look, they have to replace some key pieces on the offensive line. They do bring back Will Johnson, who was an all-conference USA guy, but they're losing Jerome Daniels. They're losing both tackles. John De La Rosa is gone. But does that give you an opportunity to reshape things? And I'm very interested to see what spring practices, what the reports out of spring practice look like in El Paso, because this is an opportunity. And for Sean Kugler, it may be an opportunity not just to reshape his offense, but to save his job.
Yeah, and I think if I'm a UTEP fan, I'm probably a little nervous, too, if they come out and they just assume that Q Wadley or one of the other guys is just going to be the new Aaron Jones, and they're going to give him the same kind of reps and hope that they get the same kind of results. Now, they might. Mm-hmm. That is an outcome that's possible.
It is.
It could even be better. But I think I'd be a little nervous if there wasn't a clear plan B being worked on in the light of day.
I think that I would like to see this offense use this as an opportunity to open things up a bit. But that's just me.
Yeah.
That's me.